And Dragon with you. So today we have a special video dedicated to what you can do at the Great Storm. And as you can see, my casual plan was clean everything around, then move to the point near the 180 power location. And usually I just rush straight into 200, 210, but today I decided to take a more relaxed way of playing. So I could pick 33rd location, just that was a misclick and I decided not to fix it anyway. So let's check if I can go into inner circle, and I really recommend to collect 200 or 210 power before you enter the boss, so that you can survive and hit it in 2 or 3 times. Okay, so let's start from location with 180 power, and here I'll show you a team which isn't kind of best probably, but you still can play it. So let's collect a team around Jhu. Jhu isn't my most popular hero, but he is a well-known tank killer. So let's collect a team around him and let's check if I can do it. So that's my first team. I can use Axel to redirect damage and to make it more effective. And also that's almost a Nosh team. So I just want to have Esteros in front in case something goes wrong, and just to make sure I can survive before we get into trouble. Okay, so I think we can kind of make it auto. Let's see if my Nebula is good enough to hit the boss with her abilities, and as you can see, Jhu moves back to front. That's casual Jhu stuff, so he really tries to remove the enemy's backline and slowly moves to the front. So my team not at all, but well, he is good enough to fight bosses, and that's the stats of Jhu team. Only 76,000 power here, but at the same time you see that he was effective. And Sebastian added some pure damage and some physical damage as well. That's how the team can work. So one more time, you can play almost ODH team, but with a tank in front. That's the first idea. The second idea, which worked pretty nice, was ODH. So a well-known team combination which allows you to collect a huge amount of value using Dorian. So we play Dorian, Orion, and healers. Probably we don't need Martha here because we already have that. And what can you add here? So if you are sure that you can heal, then you can play Faceless. So ODFH, they all will be collected around Dorian, and they will heal themselves. If you're not sure in that, you don't want to control manually everything which is going on, then I recommend you to play Nebula or Celeste, maybe some other healer / buff, so that your team works more effectively. So let me show you the option with Celeste for now, or I can go straight to Faceless combo, as you wish. Okay, so this location is easier, that's why I pick Faceless, and let's try to win with Faceless. So here I will be forced to have some slight control over Faceless, so that he doesn't clone Dorian or Esteros. I don't need that to happen. At the same time, you see the problem. So without Celeste, my Esteros gets hit hard, which I really don't like. And, well, we need Dorian to activate. When Dorian activates, that will be much easier. So look here. We need to clone either Healers or Orion to make it work. And the damage output looks great. So that's not my main team as you saw, but I still am able to play mages, and that kind of works. So maybe that team can fit you, but remember that Esteros has max stats, kind of. That's why the only thing I did max is Ascension bonus for tanks. That's why my Esteros feels great. He also has Oliver for extra healing, that's why he stands still. So the main damage dealer was Orion, then we have healers and Faceless, and after that, let's check damage taken and healing. Obviously that's about Dorian, and some healing for characters from their lifestyle. let's move on. Let's move on and test the next team which I play. The next team is same stuff but with not Faceless but Celeste. It's a more solid one. You can double buff your team and at the same time you have more healing for Esteros or your tank, whatever you play. So let's check how this team works. This time I can play auto, but to make sure I get enough effect, I'll need to switch Celeste into the correct mode. For example, now we need some healing. We have magic penetration from Orion. Faceless also helps with magic penetration if you're not sure if you have it. At the same time, I placed as a magic attack buff. You can double reroll for before your activations if you're lucky enough to catch the moment. Or you can just kill somebody with Celeste. Why not? So double reroll, then we need healers and Dorian. And that's how we clean up. What about the information? So that's how we did it. Okay, so now we have the beacon and I'll switch to a physical team this time. So as for a physical team, I'll use Marsa. So she's not as great as Dorian because your characters will not lifesteal, but at the same time, if you survive till her tea parties, then you will probably feel okay. Okay, so I'll check dodge for Yasmine, someone to heal. You also can play Sebastian instead of Celeste, but I just want to make sure I have enough healing for Yasmine. And the Celeste option allows you to have extra healing. I could also play Dorian Marsa, but then I'll need to jump Yasmine into the enemy front line. Just to feel safer, I'll play this. And this time I think I can auto that. Probably not. So, as you can see, we have a serious problem here. So I need to win some time, switch Celeste into light mode, then I double reroll her into light mode once again. Esteros healing helps to survive. You need to be really fast here, really careful. Don't allow your Yasmine die. And as you can see, that wasn't easy. So I almost lost the entire front line. My main damage dealers are Yasmine and Qing Mao, so as you can see, they have kind of same effect. Also, Celeste can help with healing and some damage if you're in trouble. I use Celeste to save my Esteros and Yasmine when we almost got broken. She helped a lot. And that's the stats which I used. Okay, so that's how I enter the inner circle. Now I can do several fights just to collect. So that's how it ended. I removed the boss and several more locations. But just for you, I decided to check several options of my current Yasmine team and show which problems they have and what kind of works. Okay, so let's move to the log. As you can see, I checked several teams. The first one was based on Yasmine, and also I demonstrated what happens if you play Albus. What's the problem with this team? Actually, as for survival, it's almost pretty same. So you still have double healer. You can use Celeste in light mode when you need healing. Don't lose your tank if it's possible. As you can see, my Esteros is powerful, but he almost died here. So you still can play Esteros that just results into better survival but little damage. So at this particular case, what I wanted to highlight. So Yasmine started jumping into the opponent, but as you saw, it happened not instantly. So the problem with Albus is that before you get hit with somebody, Yasmine will not jump. That's why you need to make sure someone hits Yasmine, and the easiest way to guarantee that is play not Albus but Axel. That's why when Axel was released, I just really fast noticed that he works nicely with Yasmine. because you can just target where to jump. Every single opponent hits you, and that redirects into Yasmine, which means Yasmine will jump right into the target unit. So the problem with the setup was I really needed more time, more survival, and I failed to deal enough damage. So the problem of Albus, yes, he adds some damage, I agree, but for that you could just boost Yasmine and she would compensate the damage. At the same time, Asteros would survive because of Axel's redirection. My second test was if you can swap Dorian and Marsa. So we have Axel for better survival. At the same time, Dorian doesn't allow all the team heal. So you don't have the Tea Party, you need to lifesteal from the front line. And although Dorian managed to survive, the general fight was just a disaster. Look at this. So we start the fight. Dorian feels okay. We also have damage redirection. We also have fast Yasmine activation, as I saw. So with Axel, that's not a problem. But Dorian doesn't heal your team properly here. So if you play Dorian, you need to play characters which stand around Dorian. Something like Jhu, Orion, Helios, or Faceless. The mistake of collecting this team was my characters didn't actually lifesteal thanks to Dorian, and that's why it didn't work. So Dorian is great, no doubt, but make sure your heroes stand around. The next test was about Corvus. So what if I play Corvus as my tank and use the same setup? Actually, everything went well. So you can't see the boss health, unfortunately, but the damage was great. So we have both survival ability because Celeste helps Corvus to survive. My Corvus isn't maxed at Ascension, but in general, he is kind of powerful. Also, he still needs some skins. And what we see, so Celeste works as extra healer. Sometimes I can use her as a damage dealer, but her main role here is to help Marsa between Tea Parties to make your team survive. Also, make sure that your Tea Party works because sometimes it gets hit or time out, so be careful with that. And in general, you see that the health of the opponent is really removing fast. So this team worked for me. Also, Corvus adds you damage. So the option with Asteros can be more safe for survival, but the option with Corvus is better for extra damage. And as you see here, this team managed to deal significant damage to the boss. That's why my last fight was just cloning this team and I easily won. So in general, I would say that if you play a Yasmine-based team, I really recommend you to play Axel because that allows you to jump with Yasmine into every target you really need. And also at the same time as a tank, if you need more damage, you can play Corvus or Aurora maybe. If you need more defense, you can use Asteros. And that's how we do it. So Corvus added nice amount of damage. And that's the damage taken. Once again, thanks to Axel, I'm able to just survive. I'm healing from Celeste and Marsa because this time I use Celeste as a damage dealer as well. So to improve the result, I could pick the location 34 as a buff. So this buff allows you to increase healing for better survival or just decrease the damage income. So whatever you need, this buff is useful, but I just wanted to show you some options. That's why I didn't use it. And my last part was exactly the same team and easy win with this set. Okay, so I hope this video helps you to collect a team which you need. Maybe you play ODH, maybe you play Jhu team. My Jhu is still weak. Or if you play Yasmine teams and use Axel, make sure your tank is useful and get some armor penetration for Yasmine. Thank you for watching, see you in my next videos, and good luck to you.